Hello and welcome to my channel, and welcome to Bonn and the surrounding region. Just out on a little hike. Normally we go off in the car to places like the Westerwald or the Eifel, or even further afield to places like Belgium or the Netherlands. But today we decided to leave the car at home and just come for a walk along the banks of the Rhine from our home in Oberkassel down to Königswinter. I always enjoy walking along here. It's well organised. You know, there's a good footpath, a good cycle path, there's a train line, there's lots of boats go up and down. So even though it's beautiful countryside, it's also quite busy and quite popular. There are beaches along the river, so you on days like this you can smell the food being cooked on the barbecues and watch people chilling out and relaxing and listening to music and so on. So lovely to be able to just walk here from my apartment. During this walk I'm going to update you on some of the things that's been happening over the last week. It's been a busy week since we got back from England on Sunday, and I'll also share with you some of my learnings from my first couple of weeks of making YouTube videos, and maybe I'll start there with the YouTube stuff. Yeah, so I'm on a very steep learning curve. I mean, just 10 minutes ago I recorded the introduction to this video and realised the video hadn't recorded at all. It was on photo instead of video, so some very basic things I need to learn. I also noticed that I don't look into the camera because I'm not sure where the camera is on my phone, so I apologise for not making eye contact with you all the time, but hopefully we'll get better at that. Got some unexpected feedback on my videos. There were things I hadn't expected, like I need to get my eyebrows trimmed, need to get my hair tidied up, need to wear smarter clothes. Those were comments from family. But I also noticed that I think my biggest problem is talking in public. I feel very self-conscious talking into a camera as I'm walking, and whenever I see other people I either talk nervously or I put the phone away quickly. So I need to get more comfortable talking in front of other people because it's really disrupting my filmmaking process. Last night it was a beautiful evening and went over to the other side of the river to make a video, and it just failed totally because of all the people walking by and because of my reaction or my response to those kind of moments. So I said I was going to tell you about some of the things I've been up to this week. There's been a lot going on in preparation for moving back to England, I would say. So not only have we been shifting boxes and sorting out things, and we sold our dining room table and chairs, for example, but we've also been doing a lot on the medical side of things. So like many people, we've read and heard lots of stories about what's going on in England with the healthcare system and how they're struggling to cope. And so I'm very unsure what sort of care we're going to get when we go back and how long it's going to take us to get integrated into the system. So as a precautionary measure, we've started having lots of appointments here in Germany to get ourselves looked at, to get lots of checkups and so on. And one thing concerning my hiking and running is I've noticed over the last couple of years my knee has been hurting quite a lot. So I went and got it looked at, and it turns out I am slightly flat-footed. So now I've ordered some, I don't know whether they're called insets or insoles, I'm not sure what the proper term is, but I've ordered some, get them in 2 weeks, and then I hope that will help me with my running and my walking. So it's not a major problem, but I do get some discomfort, I would say, on long walks and when I go running. But yeah, we got lots of other appointments booked. The big one for me is I'm getting a prostate scan or whatever it is they do. Anyway, they're going to have a look, see if everything's okay with that. I've had checks on our skin. I even had a scan on my lungs because I had a persistent cough after a cold I had, but that was all good. We've got dental appointments. Yeah, we're arranging all sorts of things. Oh, vaccinations. I had my ears syringed. So if I were a car, you'd say I'm getting a full service before I go back to England. Yeah, but I'm sure we'll find the NHS better than you read in the papers and so on. But yeah, I think it's good to get these things checked out. It's also been quite a big week for our family as well. So just waiting as these people come past. Sorry about that. Still not comfortable with talking to myself. Anyway, yeah, it's been a big week for our family. Our two children, Karina and Sophie, they came here when they were 13 and 10 years old, and went through the German education system for about 5 years. And it was a massive challenge for them, and I often felt quite guilty about what we'd put them through. And yeah, it was always a priority of ours to help them as much as we could to get them back on track after the difficulties they'd had here. And now we're in a situation this week where both our children have a degree, and that's such a relief, and they've done so well. They've done it the hard way, but in a way that makes those achievements all the more remarkable. So this week Sophie got her first class honours degree in geography. Really, really proud of her. She had 5 years out of the British education system here in Germany. She went to a bilingual German-French school. She had 5 years battling away with all of that, and then when she was 15, she went back to England on her own. 3/4 of the way through the GCSE programme, and managed to catch up and get good GCSEs, good A levels, and now as a mature student, she's just got the good news that she has a degree in geography, so really proud of her. And then with Karina, she had a similar challenges here, but she was even older when she came to Germany. She was 13. None of us spoke a word of German when we came here, so we really threw them and ourselves in the deep end, and they had to quickly learn the language and quickly try and hold on a moment, just trying to follow my wife down a different path. Yeah, they had to quickly learn about things that wouldn't be taught in England, like German history and European geography, and I don't know, things like that. So the curriculum is obviously different here. So they had challenges on all different fronts. But now Karina starts a new job tomorrow. So she went out to Berlin, I don't know, 5 years ago, worked in the music industry, made a career change. Now she's been working in the tech industry as a coder for a couple of years, maybe, not sure exactly how long. And she starts a new job tomorrow. So really proud of both our kids, and relieved that we didn't screw everything up for them completely with their education. But I can tell you it was really challenging. There's, when you arrive in a foreign country not speaking the language, no one shows you how to do things. We really were lost for a couple of years trying to find our way, but they managed, and it builds resilience and strength, and they're definitely both very strong people, so yeah, very proud of them. In one of my future episodes I'll drive up to that hotel. It's got spectacular views of Bonn and the surrounding region, and it's such a beautiful place. I love it up there. When we first came here, they had a big conference there about the war in Afghanistan. So I think it was probably a G7 or a G8 summit. Lots of security around there, but all the world leaders were up there. And you can understand why they chose that hotel. It really is magnificent. When I first came to Bonn, and obviously we lived in Oberkassel, I felt like I was the first British person to arrive here. I felt like I was a bit of a pioneer, and that's because Oberkassel, which is over on there, over on that side, it was a very traditional German place, and yeah, we really kind of stood out. People were quite interested in us because we were not German. I felt like I was one of the first British people here to arrive, and then I got chatting with a fella, an old gentleman, when I was out walking, and he told me about the British romantics that came down here back in the 1800s, I think, 1700s, 1800s. So famous artists, musicians, poets, writers. And I looked into it and found it all very inspirational, and realised that the British people have been coming here for a long, long time before me, and I'm certainly no pioneer. And then when we started sending our kids to school on this side of the river, we realised there were already lots of British people living here. So yeah, but really interesting, the Romantic era. I actually wrote a blog post on it. I'll put a link in the comments below. But I don't know whether you can see that, the ruins of that castle up on the top of that hill there, the Drachenfels. Lord Byron wrote a poem about that. And then about an hour south of here on the river, just below where the Moselle River flows into the Rhine, there's a region called the Middle Rhine region. And there it becomes very dramatic. The landscape becomes very dramatic. The river narrows a little. It twists and turns through steep, rocky valleys, and in this area, when you travel by boat, every bend reveals a new castle. They're just dotted around everywhere. And Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in 1818, I think. And I read this. I got a copy of the novel and read it. I'd only ever seen the black and white movie before. And there are a couple of passages in there set in the Rhine region, and she describes it beautifully. All this playing around making YouTube videos, and I'm not concentrating on my walking, and I've realised my wife is about half a mile in front of me, so I need to speed up now. So I'll stop recording for a bit. Okay. Here we are having our picnic as always, and we go on our hikes. Good healthy food, a nice setting. Don't normally have a band playing behind us, but quite nice.